Hey, you're watching HuffPost Live. I'm Mark Lamont Hill. Last week, Kanye West made a highly discussed appearance on Jimmy Kimmel Live, where he talked about a lot of things, including his rejection by the world of high fashion.
I know I'm a hip hop and I'm a rapper and everything, but I've got ideas that can mean something if I could put the proper production around them. So when I do a Nike Yeezy or I do a Louis Vuitton shoe, the production around it was at the same level as the production on my CD, or when me and Rick Rubin or Mike Dean or whoever are working together. But if I go out and make my own T-shirt or something and I call it Kanye, everybody's gonna think about when I just call myself a creative genius, they say, what's so genius about this? But when the people line up for the Yeezy, they're like, oh wow, this is like really genius. You need that production. But currently in fashion and the way the fashion world works, there's no black guy at the end of the runway in Paris, in all honesty. And that's what I was talking about when the Truman Show hit the boat.
Kanye's words highlight how black models and designers continue to be marginalized by the fashion industry. But Kanye is also part of a hip-hop culture that celebrates the very designers that don't embrace the black community with open arms. Joining me to discuss the complex relationship between fashion, race, and culture are, and I'm probably the luckiest person on the planet right now, supermodel Beverly Johnson, the first black model to appear on the cover of Vogue, Brandis Henderson Daniel, founder of Harlem's Fashion Row, image activist Michaela Angela Davis, and our HuffPost's own Black Voice of Style and Beauty editor Julie Wilson. And of course, in the Google Hangout, we're joined by Shiona Tarini. She is Fashion Market Director at Cosmo. This is really an honor to have all of you here. Beverly, I want to start with you because one of the things that's fascinating is you were the first person to appear on the cover of Vogue, right?
Yes.
1974.
Yes.
Since then,
yes.
Not much expansion, not much progress.
Well, for progress in the sense of, there is some progress.
Okay.
In the sense that now we have a lot of diversity, meaning that Joan Smalls is from the Bahama. We have a lot of African models, Iman, and we had, so because we live in a very small world now. So in that sense, it has gotten better. So people of color are really being represented in the fashion world. It just so happens in the last 4 or 5 years, we've taken a lot of steps backwards, which is, of course, for someone like myself, who took a lot of arrows, and is very disappointing. It's very disappointing to go to a fashion show and be really excited, and for designers that are your friends and whatever that don't have anyone of color in their show, and that is particularly because of African Americans, particularly because I'm an African American, the influence that we have in fashion. I mean, what we're wearing, if we would go into, let's say, Calvin Klein's studio, he would be copying, he would be stealing. Your hair, that's where they get it from, those our influence. And for us not to be acknowledged, first of all, and then because we actually participate monetarily in the fashion industry, we buy a lot of stuff.
We buy the stuff, right.
That we should also be represented in the marketing and in the advertising.
Right. And that's what's stunning to me. Julie, you went through the entire Vogue catalog from, even if you just look at from when Beverly was on the cover until now, 40 years later, only 30 black people have been on the cover by themselves.
Right, that's like 1 or 2 people. There could be 2.
1 or 2, okay.
There was LeBron was with Giselle Bouchen.
Right,
and
the Godzilla flick.
Yeah, but not excluding the pictures of all of the models together. And in the past 5 years, I did some number crunching. There's only been 7 covers out of a possible 60. And 2 of them were Michelle Obama, 2 of them were Beyonce, 2 of them were Rihanna, and 1 was Halle Berry.
Wow.
So you're seeing the same women over and over again.
And relatively safe choices, right? I mean,
Right.
you have to be like the super duper star to be on the cover of these magazines.
They're great. They're going to sell the magazines, but 7 in the past 5 years to 60 issues that are a possibility. I mean, it's kind of sad.
That's stunning. And it's not just magazine covers. If you look at who's been on the runway, just look at Fashion Week Spring 2014, what's being projected for Spring 2014, you see white models make up 79.98%, almost 80% of the models, Asian 8.1%, Latinas 3.9%, and of course black models make up 8.08%. Those numbers are stunning, but I guess they're not surprising to you.
Actually, they are surprising to me. And I just recently have been able to really go and see shows because normally I would be behind the scenes, and I'm very upset. And I'm just sitting there watching the show, and I'm going, okay, a black girl's gonna come out soon.
Right.
She's gonna come out soon.
Right.
And I'm getting angrier and angrier. I can't even enjoy the show. I can't go behind and tell the designer, you know, how much I like the show, because I didn't like it at all.
Because falling back through the glass ceiling shreds you.
Yeah.
Right? So when models like you and Naomi Sims, like you said, you took arrows. And I think what has made Beth Ann and Naomi and Iman so angry, and Kanye, like I understand, he's articulating a frustration and has the bravery to do it in mainstream that all of us are feeling. Going backwards hurts.
Yeah.
So, and it's not just on the runways, it's the creative directors, the designers, everyone who makes choices does not reflect America. That pie chart is so reductive and so not modern. What we're seeing is an assault on the American aesthetic. It hurts everybody.
Right, and when we look at that, we also have a number, because that's from spring 2014 season, but if we look at since 2008, because I don't want y'all to think this is some statistical anomaly that we picked out just to make a point. If you look at it from 2008 into 2013, look at that.
Yeah, Giselle does Giselle.com, Jezebel.
Jezebel, yeah.
Jezebel.com does a really good job of, and has been since 2008, of really, showing the disparity.
Yeah.